Okay, so let's dive into something really, really relevant today. How businesses managed, well, more than managed, during that huge global pause.
Right.
We're looking at MIT Professor Yossi Sheffi's book, The New Abnormal: Business Resilience in a Changing World.
Yeah.
I mean, cast your mind back to 2020. Everything just stopped.
The emergency brake, yeah.
Exactly. But what's fascinating, and what Sheffi highlights, is that so many companies, they didn't just freeze, they actually found, new ways to operate.
That's really the core of his argument, isn't it? This idea that the old normal, it's just gone. It's not coming back.
Right.
We're in this kind of permanent abnormal now. And quick adjustment, being agile, that's not just a good strategy anymore. It's like the basic requirement to stay in the game.
Survival, basically.
Exactly, survival. And he's not just talking theory. He uses some really vivid examples, like there was this medical device company, not a huge name, totally dependent on one supplier.
Yep.
And boom, crisis hits. But they managed to pivot, find new suppliers super fast, we're talking weeks, using some little-known trade deal, avoided total disaster. That's the kind of nimbleness he means.
That's a great example. And it shows it wasn't just the massive corporations,
True, but he does also look at the big players, how they navigated this.
Yeah, you mentioned case studies. He really gets into giants like Walmart, Amazon, Pfizer, right? How they showed incredible adaptability.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't about dusting off old crisis plans. Walmart, for instance, they ramped up their data analytics like crazy. Real-time.
Real-time data.
Yeah, mapping where demand was spiking, rerouting trucks literally while they were on the road to get products where they were needed most, kept shelves stocked even with all the panic buying.
Wow, and Amazon.
Amazon completely rejigged its whole fulfillment network, prioritizing essential goods even though other stuff got delayed. It was all about that quick, data-backed decision-making, making those pivots.
And it wasn't always just about the bottom line, was it? There seemed to be a lot of flexibility shown for maybe a broader purpose.
You're spot on. It went beyond just profits for many. You saw companies flipping production lines overnight to make PPE, things like masks and gowns.
Right, I remember that.
And the whole work from home thing. For lots of companies, that wasn't just temporary, it stuck. It became permanent.
So what does Sheffi say are the key takeaways for companies going forward?
He really boils it down to two main things, sort of intertwined. First is resilience. The ability to take a hit, absorb the shock, and not just bounce back, but maybe bounce back stronger.
Okay, resilience.
And the second is agility. That's the capacity for really fast, flexible change, quick adaptation.
So you need both.
Definitely. You need the resilience to survive the initial shock, and then the agility to actually change and evolve afterwards. Can't really have one without the other in this new abnormal.
What I found really interesting, though, was that it's not just about technology and data, even though those are obviously huge.
No, absolutely not.
He emphasizes the human side too, right? Empathy, communication, ethics.
Yes, precisely. That's a really crucial point Sheffi makes. Look, data analytics, digital tools, they're powerful weapons, no doubt, in this shifting world. But things like genuine empathy, being transparent with your people, making ethical calls under pressure, they're just as vital. It's not only about the numbers.
So building that culture is key.
It's fundamental. How do you build an organization that can handle a future that keeps changing the rules? Sheffi's book is essentially, a kind of roadmap for that. He argues you need that culture of trust. You need to empower people to make good ethical decisions quickly, even when the raw data might point to a purely profit-driven, short-term path.
Empowering people, not just optimizing processes.
Exactly. So embracing both that resilience and agility, building it into the culture, it's not really optional anymore. It's just paramount for surviving and hopefully thriving.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. If Sheffi's right, and this abnormal is here to stay, and resilience and agility are like our main tools, what does this mean for you listening right now? How might these lessons apply to your own life, your own adaptability in a world that just keeps changing?